So one of the issues your campaign talks about a lot more than other campaigns is housing.
Mm-hmm.
Talked about trying to make sure that small businesses that are starting can borrow off of higher housing values. What are the things you can do to improve housing in the city?
First thing you can do is improve the property tax collection program. Right now, we have a program that basically economically makes it unviable to purchase a house and fix it up. Because what ends up happening is you have a property tax office that takes basically any lien that people come with. So you got properties where, in order for me to buy a property that's worth $40,000, I might have to settle $20,000 worth of tax liens. $8,000 of those dollars might have been in water and sewage. Water and sewage on an abandoned property. So you're paying for, and what the city has failed to realize is the value of a home is whatever the market is. And banks are going to fund you based on whatever that market value is. So if the house has $20,000 in liens, and the market says that value of the house is $50,000, that means the bank's probably going to only loan you $40,000, which means you got about $20,000 to fix up a house that needs $40,000 worth of work. You know, you just can't. The economics don't make any sense around that. So the first thing that you can do is, or that I would do is, I mean, some of this I had to go to city council for, but I would, you know, if there's properties in the neighborhood that you can show me dollar for dollar, you could rehabilitate a house, I'll give you the property. We'll work out some sort of abatement program for folks that do that, so that you can fix up the house and then you've got some breathing room to try to sell the house or to move into the house. And we can structure a program where you can escrow the abated taxes so that the city eventually is going to get those taxes anyway. So that's one of the ways that you can deal with the housing program. Another thing is, this is totally unorthodox, but the city, I would either have to work with South Jersey Credit Union, or I would have to help organize a credit union in the city. And I think you could organize a credit union in the city. And by the way, not only could you organize a credit union in the city, I think you could get Wells Fargo and Bank of America and the big banks to even fund it. Because what you could do if you had a credit union, the credit union could be used to lend funds and originate mortgages that are in line with what Camden people can afford. Because like right now, if you went to Bank of America or Wells Fargo, they're not going to want to give you a mortgage unless it's at $100,000, $150,000. There are very few houses in the city of Camden that are valued at that. Most of the houses are valued around $40,000 to $60,000. So if you want to buy a house and fix it up, you just can't. You're not going to. The bank's not going to give you the money to do it because they're not going to loan you $150,000 for a $60,000 house, and anything under $100,000 they don't want to get involved in. But if you have a credit union, the credit union can lend at much lower numbers, and you can start to bundle a bunch of mortgages, which would make it more attractive to the bank. So basically what you could do is you could use a credit union to extend credit to fix some of these houses up. And then once people are able to take back mortgages on those properties, the credit union would be an originator of the loan and would hold the note until it got 4 or 5 years mature. And then they could sell that note to be serviced by Bank of America or Wells Fargo or something like that. And because of the way the credit unions are organized, once the housing market starts hitting some benchmarks, like let's say there's a 25% increase in the value of properties, you can dissolve the credit union. So now you don't have these moral hazard issues or some of these financial issues where, you know, you start to have all types of other negative problems with corruption and that stuff. And the credit union can do it easy enough and small enough so that you can dissolve it. And at the end of the day, Stephen Danley started out with a note from the credit union, but that got sold off to Bank of America. Now Bank of America services it. Now Bank of America has a line in to Stephen Danley to extend other credit. You've built your credit with them. They're going to extend other credit to you. And the city of Camden is out of it. We just initially did something that made credit available so that you could fix houses up. For most of these houses in the city of Camden, you could probably get a personal loan to fix up the house versus paying all that money in property taxes. To me, property taxes are secondary to doing things that reduce the crime, reduce the trash, and stabilize neighborhoods. And that's what I think we could do if we did that.
So talk about that quality of life. What can the mayor do? Why isn't this happening now? And how could you change that?
You mind if I get some water? Because